and welcome to my channel. This is day 20 for Veda, which is video every day in April. And today I am bringing you 3 of my most favorite authors. As I said, I'm bringing you 3 of my favorite authors. As you can see, I have 4 bookshelves that you can see of favorite authors. These authors back here, for the most part, I'm stalking them. But there are 3 of them that I picked off that mean something very, very, very dear to my heart. So I'm going to show you one of their books, and pretty much their gateway book that got me hooked onto them and started stalking them in a good way. The way the authors like them, not in the illegal way. And that, you know, made me want to read pretty much everything that they put out. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Corinne Michaels. And I read The Belonging Duet by Corinne Michaels just before I started going to book signings. And this brought military fiction romance into my life in such a real way that I was like, okay. I had read some military romances before I got to this series, or this duet right here, and I was like, that's wrong. Nah, that's wrong. Nope, they don't act like that. And then I read this. I was like, wow, Corinne knows what she's talking about. Then I went to a meet and greet with her, and come to find out she was a former military wife, and I'm a former military wife. I'm also a veteran, so I had that military aspect, but also the military wife aspect of life in the military. And this book series right here was absolutely amazing. So this duet starts you off into the Salvation series of Navy SEALs who got out of the military for the most part, and they started a security company. These are the first 2 characters that you meet, and they are amazing. I thought they were great. I think they're written in this fabulous way. It's Katherine and Jackson's story, and you don't have to read the Salvation series in order. However, I would suggest starting with this one. I started with this one, and it made their transition so smooth. And since I started reading Corinne, she's actually branched her way out into sort of small town feel, more military stuff, and girlfriends type series, and I've loved every single thing that she has written. There have been a couple that I loved more than others, but for the most part, Corinne is one of my, if I can see her whenever she's at a signing, I'm going to try and go to that signing. I'm going to stalk her and, you know, get as many books as I can, as long as I continue to read her books. As long as she puts them out, I'm going to continue to collect them and get them from her. So the next author that I'm going to talk about is Alethea Romay, and she started me into the psychological thriller romance with this series of Consequences. This was her debut novel. I fell in love with her with this. This is so hard-hitting. There is a scene in this book that I tell everyone that if you're going to pick this book up and you're going to try it, when you get to that scene, and if it affects you the way it should affect you, take a step back and then go back into the series, because by the end, you're loving these characters like like you want to be their, well, no, not like you don't want to be their family, but so much stuff starts to unfold and starts to peel like a little onion, and you start to understand their world, and it is so very good. It's so twisted and crazy, and it doesn't start off as a romance, but once you get to like books 3, 4, and 5, I believe it is, that's when like you're like, yep, this is a romance that has a whole bunch of twists and turns and craziness. Very much so. And then, something bit me. And then the final author that I'm going to talk about is Kennedy Ryan. Flow was my first book of Kennedy Ryan's that I read. I read this book because I was meeting Kennedy in Philly for a possible interview, and I was like, I can't interview someone that I haven't read their books for. So I immediately got Flow and I read this. This book set me on my butt. I was like, what? There were parts in this that are so real that I was like, oh, Kennedy Ryan must be married to a white guy like I am, because she is talking my language in this interracial relationship of a story. Well, come to find out, she's not, and she just did her research really, really well. Once I finished this one has some text in it that I don't necessarily like to read, but once I pushed through it, it all started to unravel and become like this beautiful song that just spoke to my heart. I mean, oh, and then once you read Grip, and still the story of Bristol and Grip is just absolutely amazing. I have since been stalking Kennedy for pretty much any book that she decides to put out, and I have now deemed her, I think, 10 books in as my realistic contemporary queen. If I want to feel emotionally connected to a story and know that it's going to have some hard-hitting topics that go into it, I'm reading Kennedy Ryan. Yes, very much so. So those are 3 authors that I absolutely adore. There are many, many more on that list, as I said. Those are just the 3 that were my gateway of people that I will stalk to the ends of the earth. When they decide to say they're writing another book, I'm like, ooh, can I be on your art team? Can I read that book, please? Please, 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 please. I'm reaching out. I'm reaching out and saying, can I read that book from them? So yes, most definitely. But there are like a lot more, but those are 3. So let me know some of your favorite authors as well, some of their books that got you sort of into them and gatewayed into your love for them. Let me know down in the comments. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, there is a feedback form down in the description box so you guys can help me improve my channel. Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys later. See you guys tomorrow.